I think we've got somebody that had an alien experience. This sounds
I'm
pretty
curious
cool.
about this. You want to talk to Justin?
Let's hit up Justin from Colorado. Him. Hey, Justin, you're on with SR and Christy. Tell us about this experience.
Well, I wouldn't necessarily say I believe in aliens, but I wouldn't not believe in aliens. So,
Sure.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I saw a UFO. I was just, sitting on the deck. Well, I was actually, adjusting the viewfinder for a telescope.
Mm-hmm.
And then I looked through the main reticle, the main, view, and the moon was pretty big. And I noticed something right away. It was like a flying saucer that was like a 1940s style, and just a run-of-the-mill classic metallic flying saucer.
Mm-hmm.
And it just kind of seemed to be drifting up and to the left until it just got out of view, and then I lost it. But it was illuminated very well because the moon was right in the background.
Yeah, but what do you imagine you were looking at?
Yeah.
I saw what looked like a disc. It just looked like a disc with just kind of getting wider towards the middle, and then a little dome on the top and a little thingamajigger on the bottom. And it just basically looked like your run-of-the-mill flying object.
Mm.
Yeah.
Do you think it's possible that maybe over the decades and stuff, maybe not even consciously, but you've just kind of seen that image a bunch of places, and so maybe there was this weird fuzzy little object, maybe a little smudge on the lens or something that you kind of just pre-fitted into that mold? Do you think that that's a possibility?
No, because if it was a smudge on the lens, it would have went away. Oh no, it would have stayed there and it went away.
Sure.
So
Okay.
yeah, and then it was very clear. It was actually in focus. So I don't know how that was possible, but it was. And the moon was in focus too. So yeah, it was kind of weird. It was. I don't know how far away it was, but it was big enough to be about maybe 10 or 15 lengths of the full view. So it was quite big.
Okay.
Yeah, so I hear that you've ruled out a smudge, and I get that, but on the one hand, you're talking about a unidentified flying object, and I asked you, what do you think that you saw? And then you've described I saw this thing that looked like a saucer, and you kind of vaguely mentioned the idea of aliens up at the top. And, you're calling this show. So, I think the implication here is, was it or was it not an alien spaceship, even if we haven't actually asked that question? And if that's where we're going or if that's what you're thinking, I have to kind of ask why.
Yeah.
I can't rule out that it was an alien spaceship, but there just seem to be so many thousands of things that I couldn't even possibly conceive of that are still remarkably more likely than something we have no verifiable evidence of ever happening ever. Is that fair?
Oh, yes, absolutely fair. I just want to add that I don't know if it's aliens, and for all I know, it could be like a U.S. spaceship or something. I don't know. It could be anything, but I know what it looked like.
Sure.
So it was very clear.
I wonder about something because, well, two things actually. So, one, are you familiar? I'm sure you probably are, Justin. I'm sure you've probably heard about the big name folk, the Elon Musk and the Jeff Bezos and the Richard Branson doing the space rocket things. We got all these other problems on Earth. These guys are putting all their money into spaceships and whatnot. But did you know that Virgin Galactic, the Richard Branson company, had actually petitioned the U.S. government all the way back in 2006 to start doing test flights for various flying vehicles that they were creating. And so with this knowledge on the table, where would you say aliens comes up? Because I like what Christy just said there, where it's there's so many thousands of different potentials out there that are still more plausible, I think, than it being some travelers from another galaxy or something.
Yeah, actually, I agree with that. I don't know if it's aliens. I don't know if it was the U.S. government, and I don't know if it was another government, and I I just really don't know who piloted it.
Or sincerely, if it was a balloon that was released from a grocery store or a child's birthday party or any number of things. Like, it may not seem like, oh, this looks like that. Obviously, if you knew what you were looking at, you wouldn't be calling us. You would know what you were looking at. But there are so many opportunities for the actual reality to become obfuscated by the time it hits the lens of the telescope and then hits your eye and then hits your optical nerve and then is interpreted by your brain and then is coded into memory and then is turned into a narrative which you can then construct into a phone call. There are so many opportunities for that memory, that experience to get sort of just messed around with. I guess what I really mean to say is don't believe everything you think, right? Like, you can't just rule out something as mundane as a Mylar balloon because the way that you remember it is that it probably didn't very much look like that.
Okay, yeah. If it was a flat, like, balloon that was horizontal, I would agree with you. And I told people immediately, hey, I just saw a UFO. And they're like, okay. And they didn't really care. So I was with my family on that deck, and I was just preparing the telescope. So, yeah, I totally get it, and I can see how my memory's been muddled since then. But
yeah, and that's something that's just regular for all of us, Justin. Honestly, like the other day, I was chatting with my girlfriend, and she was like, "Oh yeah, it was purple," you know, and I was like, "No, it wasn't. It was blue." And we come to find out, hey, look, it was purple, you know. But it's just like purple and blue aren't that far off from each other, right? So it's like, okay, you know, the brain just kind of puts in the pieces every so often. And I think that's what's good about being skeptical, right? Is it doesn't mean that we never accept something. It means that we don't accept something until we have good reason to. And because currently, you know, despite all the fun Area 51, you know, stuff, we don't have any good reason to accept aliens are visiting us, you know?
And I understand that. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead. No, please, because I think you're on that. I think you're on that path. So
yeah, no, I don't expect this personal experience to convince anyone else. I just started calling because I was advised by the chat.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I would just say, without wanting to try and discredit your experience, that not only would I not let it expect it to convince somebody else, I would maybe encourage you to not let it convince you, because we all have experiences that we can't necessarily explain clearly, and it's okay to have questions, but to go from, well, this thing happened, I don't understand this thing, therefore aliens, therefore really anything outside of what we routinely observe and know and understand to be likely and true, just doesn't make good sense. Your personal experience not only doesn't convince other people, I would say you should be suspect about a singular personal experience that you had yourself.
Okay. Oh, one thing to add to that is that I don't know why it would be flying over the skies of Colorado and why it would just be drifting along. So
me either.
If it were like a secret spy or some kind of an alien, then why would they be doing that?
I don't know.
Great question.
Yeah, I haven't even gotten to the point of saying why would aliens be coming to Earth anyway. I mean, if they have that technology, they probably have better telescopes than us. And this shit going on, you think they're coming over here to hang out? Like, I don't think so. But you know, Justin, thank you so much. That was a fun one, honestly, and we appreciate it, man. And if you get any more information on it or anything, feel free to call us back and let us know. We always love updates. So.
And we do want to believe. Please.
Well, let's see from the audience. Audience, what did y'all think? Do you think that was a UFO experience? Do you think there were actually aliens that Justin saw? What do you guys think on that there? Are we convinced?
Show of hands, shrug, no.
I'm not feeling the convincing, folks. I am not feeling that we were
compelling.
convinced.
Sure.
And that's okay. That's honestly okay.
Fair enough.
You know?